Bonjour, Space Lizard.
Bonjour, bonjour. All good?
Right, more weekly news. More weekly news.
Yes. Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it last week. I was
No,
dealing with
that's no.
an issue.
Well, sometimes when the orbits, I suppose, you've got to be in a geosynchronous orbit to get the correct. But you've got the first bit of news to kick it off this week. You
Yes,
got
yes.
something from the space scanners. What is it?
So I saw it first thing this morning. So there's reports that originally when the MCU put their slate out for
Yeah,
phase 4, 5 and
cool.
whatever else, I think they went up to 6. I'm not sure. I think it was end of phase 5 maybe. But it said that there was going to be 2 Avengers movies, one of which being Kang Dynasty and then the other one being Secret Wars. And obviously, with Secret Wars, there's a lot of rumors that familiar faces are going to return and all that sort of stuff. The latest report is that they're going to split Secret Wars into 2 movies instead of just one. So it sounds like they're changing their plan. Instead of just being one movie, it's almost going to be like, I'm guessing, like an Infinity War Endgames. It's almost like we're getting an Avengers trilogy with Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, and potentially Secret Wars Part 2. Um, to me, changing that plan is they changed the plan before, like, but nothing that drastic. I think it's a desperation. I think they know that obviously the MCU is failing. They're slowing down their projects and the release date of their projects. They know films aren't doing very well. They know the Avengers films will make money. So let's potentially cancel or not do some of the other bits. We've got like a 2.5 hour movie there anyway. And by the way, they're doing their reshoots and they're like with Wahiti doing 6 hours worth of footage. Just let's put a bit more effort and time into a big IP, and then we can get 3 movies out of it to try and recoup it. Because the Avengers movies alone will pretty much recoup anything else if we're going off of what Infinity War, Endgame, and the original Avengers movie did. Even Ultron, to be fair.
Well, you are assuming that it will be a decent set of Avengers.
Well,
If they go ahead,
Secret Wars would be everyone. I don't think on Kang Dynasty, I reckon it would just be like a mismatch of and them trying to force their newer characters in. But with Secret Wars, the premise of it is that you can pretty much have everyone in it, old and new. And I'm guessing that by that point they'd have established Fantastic Four, you'd have had Blade, X-Men.
What year are we talking about, Liz?
I think it's 2026. 2025, 2026-ish.
Yeah. Because I just get, it's probably good news in the fact that they want to get some, maybe, stretch it, something like Secret Wars maybe would have been too rushed in one movie.
Yeah.
So stretching it to 2 movies.
I think I'm being cynical.
A bit of good news. I think I'm gonna label it good news.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a bit too cynical because of what's going on at the moment. But yeah, I think 2 movies could potentially you could fit everyone in then, couldn't you?
Because phase 5 and 6, I think we're already seeing. I mean, I think you might as well, if they wrote all that on the blackboard at school, you might as well rub all that out now.
Yeah.
You might as well rub all that out because the release date, the Marvels is the first one along in it that they've pushed back and back and back.
Yeah.
This also seems like if they're splitting it into 2 films, it makes me wonder what they might cancel because everything with Marvel is, as we all know, it's fact, is up in the air and getting cancelled. And they've got to save 5.5 billion this year. That's just to please the shareholders, not to please anyone else, not to please the streamers, an audience, a fan of Star Wars or Marvel or Disney movies. They're not trying to please anyone else except the stock markets by cutting 5.5 billion out of their budget this year.
That's a lot, isn't it?
So in order to do that, you can see why Marvel's has been pushed back. They can't make, if you've got to cut 5.5 billion, I know they're still, I wouldn't say awash with money, but they're not skin, not yet. But these big companies still do go, they're still paying off the debt from buying MGM, aren't they, as well? Which I couldn't see. Anyway, let's not get into that now. But so pushing certain projects back and spreading everything out. And maybe cancelling. Say they cancel 2 or 3 movies. I bet we'll see them cancel movies because they're splitting up the Secret Wars, because that,
Well, it makes sense.
I agree with you, they are a cash.
Avengers is your biggest IP.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely.
it's your biggest IP, and it's the opportunity to get everyone in it.
Get
So,
everyone, get
and
cameo-tastic, man.
oh, there'll be everyone. There'll be more cameos than Animal Avengers, man.
And talking of cameos, have you heard about the cameo in Shazam?
No,
Wonder Woman.
really?
Yeah. So you've got, I think it's not strictly a cameo, but I just thought that was a smoother segue.
Okay, yeah, nice.
It's post credits. There's a post, I believe it's a post credit sequence with Gal Gadot in as Wonder Woman.
Oh, wow.
So you've got Zachary Levi, who isn't coming back as Shazam under the new, what's it?
Yeah.
And you've got Gal Gadot, who isn't coming back as Wonder Woman in this film.
Do you know what? That came out on Friday, didn't it? And I haven't heard anything about it at all.
Right.
No one's talking about it, that from what I can see.
The reviews that I've seen, and what, a few YouTubers and what I've read, is no one is slating it.
Okay.
Really. It's a bit like with Ant-Man. When I went on and saw that, and it was okay. Like, it's not. And so I don't know whether sometimes we're building our expectations up. Oh my God.
I mean, I had no expectations for this. Maybe this would be the one that would actually I'll be pleasantly surprised with, because I didn't really like the first one.
No, you
and
won't.
I've got no expectations with this at all.
Well,
and the trailer looks shit.
It has had the lowest Thursday opening of any DCEU film ever. It opened on Thursday, and don't get me wrong, the studios don't expect a lot from a Thursday opening. It just extends your weekend box office take, doesn't it?
Yes, of course.
Weekend. So on Thursday, 3.4 million in America. That's just domestic, first day of release. It's dead last in the movies opening on Thursday. The next,
by a considerable amount, I'd
even
imagine.
got beaten by even Birds of Prey, 4 million on Thursday.
Wow.
And Shazam, the original, in 2019. So 4 years ago, and think of like we was talking about in Hogcast, smaller ticket prices as well. It's all right talking about revenue plus inflation.
Yeah.
That took 9 million.
Wow.
So it took 9 million from more people, because you're paying cheaper ticket prices. And if you added inflation into that 9 million and compared it to today's prices,
oh yeah, definitely.
You are talking about a film that not many people have gone to see on a Thursday.
No.
The only thing that I can't compare it against, talking of Wonder Woman, is Wonder Woman 84. They didn't do a Thursday release of that.
No, that was, I think, released online, wasn't it, mostly?
Oh, God knows where they released that. I think they released that in the skip they set fire to, didn't they? So, yeah, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I think people are building it up for the Flash. I mean, the Flash. A random bit of news I saw: Tom Cruise has randomly seen the Flash movie.
Oh yes,
and called the director to congratulate him and speak to him about it.
Oh,
so I don't know. That's such random news.
Yeah,
or God knows. But like I say, I am looking forward to the Flash, and I'm intrigued by Aquaman.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I think the Flash is going to earn lots of money.
And I predicted that as my shitter of the year.
I know.
Wow. And I've got a lot of concerns. But
we all know what.
I'm hoping it's going to be good.
A lot of money doesn't mean we're going to all sit around and on a hogcast and go, yay!
Yeah.
What a great movie it was. It just means it's going to earn a lot of dough because Batman's in it.
Yeah.
Keaton's in it. And I do hope they're holding back another little surprise. With Cameo in Cameo Town. Yeah, I think you could do with, we know Michael Keaton's in it, could just do with a little something. But we'll see. I mean, another one in the meanwhile the Little Mermaid trailer, obviously, at the we're going to talk about the Oscars, but the Little Mermaid trailer that kind of debuted when the Oscars was on and then went online has been ratioed to death.
Wow.
It's got something like 2 million downvotes now.
It's just got no. It's just very blah for me. I watched the trailer and I was just like, I don't care. Yeah, I just didn't care.
It looks like they think they're making an Aquaman movie with Zack Snyder.
It's almost like a bad interpretation of Aquaman / Avatar 2.
Yeah.
And they've just gone, oh yeah, we'll just use the little version of that technology and just crack on from there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Other supermarkets are available. But anyway, at the moment, I just thought it just goes to show you that there is no, on both sides of that of this firmament, of this super kind of fantasy film genre firmament,
there's nothing.
Still not getting it. They're still not getting it right. I think we're seeing the shoots of.
I'm thinking along the lines of the three things we've just spoken about.
Yeah.
You've got MCU on its knees. You've got Star Wars that's sort of holding out.
Yeah.
You've got DC, which is completely a wreck at the moment. Anything that Disney are doing with any of their old IPs are just getting ratioed and are just fading. I think it's generally the IPs themselves. Like, I don't think people want any more of the old IPs. I think people want new stuff.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be like with Netflix, they're just doing new stuff, and they seem to be doing a lot better. I think people are burnt out of things that are IPs. I think they just want new stories.
They are. Yeah, I agree. But there is that Mario Kart movie.
You're well looking forward to that.
I can't wait for that.
You're well looking forward to
I
that.
am properly, every little trailer and snippet that comes out and I'll watch. I haven't seen anything that shows me that isn't going to be anything apart from the movie for 90 minutes or 88 minutes. However long, it's not going to be a long film, spot on. And what Illumination are going to show everyone is this is how you do it. A bit like with what was the last Gru film that came out? Like the Gru.
Oh, one of the Minions ones. I don't know. I've only ever seen the first one.
It was and Gru, right? It came out an absolute. I think it came out around the same time as one of the Pixar movies, one of their terrible efforts, recent efforts.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it was Lightyear or not, but basically took a dump all over it and showed Dismal, this is how you do it. This is literally Illumination. And is it Sony?
Them Minions did make me laugh, though, to be fair.
They just know how to nail it. They still know what to do. So let's see. But I predict that's
interesting.
Mario Kart's going to nail it, I think. So Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, I saw this.
I don't know. I'm a bit. Let's look at what's happened. So this week, she done a podcast.
Yeah.
For someone, it's called Armchair Expert, and in this podcast, she basically says during the filming of Wednesday, which is Netflix's second biggest hit ever, English language hit ever, after Stranger Things. So you have got to bear this in mind, right? I think it was their second biggest hit ever.
Yeah.
Objectively a success. But she said, while filming, and she wasn't going into a rant or anything. I've listened to this section of podcasts. Everyone's jumped in on it. And she's basically said, there was a moment where they wanted me to be a part of a love triangle.
Okay.
Right. So I assume you kind of see an element of it, didn't you, between her and her flatmate and one of them, the werewolf, or her and the werewolf, whatever it is, whatever way they was going to do this love triangle. But she basically turned around and said, no, it don't fit, doesn't make sense. And she's spot on with it. And there's another scene where they wanted her to be really over the moon. Like the line in the script says something like, "Oh my God, this dress is so wonderful," and then she says, "Oh, I can't believe I said that." I think that was probably the dress for the prom.
Yeah.
Because again, I haven't rewatched it to see, but there is a moment where I did think, "Oh, that was a bit out of character." So they obviously didn't completely dumb it, like make it strict Wednesday, but they did get around the fact that, yeah, oh, this is a dress that I'm prepared to wear. I seem to remember in the series.
Yeah.
Anyway, Steve D. Knight, the producer on Daredevil and Spartacus,
Yeah.
has jumped right on it and said, "What an this just stinks of entitlement, and she doesn't know, you know, the actors."
No, I totally disagree with
Tell.
that. I totally disagree with that. Like, how many times, like we've done stuff, but you hear it as well, where actors ad lib something,
Yeah,
or because they're in the character, they have to question certain things to be able to understand the character at that point, because they're the ones that have got to portray it.
yeah,
So if an actor's asking a question or saying, "I don't think that makes sense for the character," or ad libs a line, that's the whole point of collaborative film work. It seems it's because we've had it with Cavill as well. It seems that there's been a shift from collaboration and working with people
yeah.
to shut up and do what I say.
But it's weird. It's strange, isn't it, that it's Stephen D. Knight for some reason he's waded in, but he's been followed by the New York Post's Entertainment, the Daily Mail Online, and a few others are all kind of siding with D. Knight, saying, "Yeah, this is toxic and they shouldn't be doing it," and they're pointing at Jenna Ortega. But what we're all forgetting is it was a massive success.
Yeah.
And no one from Netflix is moaning about her involvement. No
Hmm.
one from Netflix has come out and said she was really difficult to work with every day on set. She wanted to change
Yeah.
the script. No one is saying that. She's only come out and said she's not slating anyone. She's said
She's
there's a
literally
couple
come
of,
out and said 2 points
yeah,
in which
there's
weren't
things there that I thought I'd change. But
which were valid, but that she's come out with 2 points where obviously someone has listened to a degree and it's helped towards the success of the overall show.
yeah, it makes me
So,
wonder if someone like Steve D. Knight just doesn't want actors being like that.
I mean, there's as a director or as a producer or as a writer, at the end of the day, the director and producer has overall control. If they want to change stuff, they can change stuff.
Yeah,
But people, there's a time to listen to the team that you've assembled around you, and there's a time to go, "No, enough now, guys. Let's crack on.
yeah,
This is the decision I've made." As that sort of manager or general manager is another way of describing a director of the overall project. If no one challenged you, or if no one said anything about anything, then you wouldn't have that creative input. It's solely on you, which is part of your job. I get that. But I'd welcome people coming at me with different ideas or give me something, and I can just go yes or no. And if I don't like it, I'm going to go no. I don't think that works. I think you're wrong on that one. But then the next time they come up and they go, "What if I said this instead of that?" Actually, great idea. Let's crack on with it. It's horses for courses. You've got to use what's in your toolbox. People have creativity that are in that industry. Allow that creativity to flow, but manage it and be in control of it. And don't get arsy when someone comes up with an idea that's different to what was written down, or says, "I don't necessarily agree with that." Well, why don't you? You're the one that's acting this role, and you're the one that's in the character.
yeah.
Why don't you like this idea? What's not working for you here?
She did say a couple of other things. She said that she wished it would have had one director. Well, she is entitled to her opinion,
Yeah.
but I think the logistics are such on these TV shows that you
Yes.
just can't have one director. You might have them on 2 or 3 episodes, but the logistics of fitting all this together.
Yeah, of
But
course.
that's not her. Again, I don't think she's actually slating Netflix. She's just saying, in an ideal world, I'd like to work with one director. That's what she's saying.
Yeah,
But
100%.
I imagine a load of actors and actresses would love to do that on their
Well,
shows.
it'd be the same with most TV shows, because
I
you
just can't
you
believe the
get
level
that.
of venom for her. The
Yeah,
level,
yeah,
unless it's because she's had so much success. You build them up, and certain people enjoy bringing people down, don't they? I mean, that's just the media in general. But
I find that very strange. I find it very strange, and it's if she was slagging it off and if she was slating it, then I can kind of get it. But she's not. She's just giving some behind the scenes bits and just saying about some of the input that she had, and she's allowed to have input, whether that input gets put in or not. But when you're discussing the character as a director, you should be working with the actor and discussing the character of how you want it portrayed. And if she's got questions, and that's a back and forth, it's not just right, I want you to do this, 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 and this. Sometimes it has to be, but other times it's like, okay, you're thinking that's not working for you. Why is that not working for you? Okay, I get what you're saying now. We'll change that, or don't be so stupid, crack on. And that's how you manage people. Like if you let it as a free for all on set and everyone wants to come at me with their ideas, it would be carnage. It would be chaos. There's got to be a structured way of allowing that creativity to come to you, just offering different suggestions, just making sure you've touched all bases. But at some point, sometimes you have to say yes, sometimes you say no. It's just a case of managing. No ideas necessarily. I'll retract that straight away. Some ideas are terrible, but those options have to be kind of put on the table, and you just work your way through it to get the best product as possible at the end. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure why she's had that much venom towards her.
No, I don't, and it's all come from one person, and I don't know. You know, Steve DeKnight's done some good stuff. I know you're a fan of Spartacus,
and
I know you're a fan of Daredevil, as am I. So it's not like he I don't know. It's not like I've ever put him in the group of having an agenda.
No,
all I think is there is a lot, particularly the media, that have taken this and run with it and taken sides with DeKnight. That's I can't understand, because there weren't many people, including these media outlets, that were praising it when it came out.
But this is the thing as well. So say, for example, DeKnight had seen that podcast. Why don't you just call her up and go, look, I didn't really agree with what you said on there. Can you please like retract it instead of just instant? But do you know what I mean? But instead of instantly going online and going like that,
you've got to insta twat it, and you've got to bleed.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Just literally just call her up and go, what's that you're talking about?
They can't.
I don't agree. You're lying there, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or just
they can't do it.
No, it's pathetic
now for them. It's impossible for them not to feel. I mean, he's talking about her, or think, you know, it shows entitlement. Well, what makes you think that anyone wants to listen to you talking about Jenna Ortega? Talk to us about, I don't know, doing a Spartacus spin-off, or you wish you could have done Daredevil series 4. You know, don't talk to us about, who cares what he thinks about Jenna Ortega?
Yeah, exactly. People seem to, though. That's the weird thing.
Anyway,
people seem to. No, it's mad.
And the last one, obviously the big news of, I mean, it's now because it was Sunday, but the Oscars.
Yes. I was.
What did you think? I don't know. I've got to say.
Put it this way. So I'm
scared, but
I'm happy. I'm happy with the results.
Yeah.
Because it was the year of the underdogs.
Yeah, that's a nice way of looking at it, actually.
I like it. It's the year of the underdogs. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis, that's been around for years, finally getting that recognition she deserves. You've got Michelle Yeoh, brilliant actress. I've always liked her. And although she has done some shitters, but I do like her.
Yeah,
she's
done
some good films. Brendan Fraser. I mean, I grew up on the Mummy films. I've always liked Brendan Fraser. He just seems like a nice guy. And Short Round as well. The year of the underdogs. people that no one expected. But put it this way: if this was a year that there was more competition out there, don't get me wrong, I think Maverick should have won something. But if there was a year where there was more competition out there, I don't think a film like Everywhere, Everything, All at Once would have cleared everything up. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's the best of the bunch.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, it was kind of maybe slim pickings.
Yeah.
Films like Maverick, they're never going to get. It's a shame, and I don't agree with it, but they never get the recognition from the Oscars.
No,
So
no. But I'm surprised that like a
maybe something technical, or
I'm surprised like an alternate reality multiverse sort of film has actually cleared house, to be fair. But overall, because that was released a similar time to old Multiverse of Madness, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah.
This is how you do it.
It's a shame I couldn't
But
get through either of them. To be fair, I didn't think
yeah,
much about
I was very happy for Brendan Fraser.
yeah,
Very happy for Brendan Fraser. Bless him. He just seems like a real nice guy. He's got the internet behind him, isn't he? He's just a
yeah.
real.
I'm just happy for fat people everywhere. We need. I
But-
feel, I feel seen now. I feel seen. I now know what these woke snowflakes mean by being seen, because
but it's like Short Round though, right? So I didn't realize his story. So Short Round obviously was a child actor.
yeah,
Then he because he was a child actor, people didn't take him seriously. He couldn't get work for like 20 years. He could barely get anything because everyone just saw him as the child actor and didn't think he could do anything.
yeah,
Look at him now; he's just won Best Supporting.
yeah,
Fair
no,
play to fair play to the man. And
yeah,
and those underdog stories of like Brendan Fraser, Short Round, and even Jamie Lee Curtis, someone that's been slaving in the industry for years
yeah,
and has worked their asses off. It is nice to see him get recognition. I know like the Oscars over the years have been I think everyone sort of came in. The Oscars were quite a big thing. Then all of a sudden it started to slowly dwindle, and I think people's interest, especially over the pandemic, we got real world stuff. I think people realize we've got real world stuff, and now it's you bunch of rich people literally patting yourselves on the back, and I think that sort of cynicism has sort of brought the Oscars down a peg,
yeah.
which is
And,
why
and
I
the
find this year
showboat
quite
as well. The
yeah, which is why
showboat and the speeches,
yeah,
about what we should all be doing.
yeah, which is why I find this year
Place, yeah.
which is why I find this year quite refreshing
Yes,
when it's the underdogs that have come in. They come up like Brendan Fraser generally looked like he was in shock
yeah.
when he got up there and accepted it, and you just go, oh, nice one, man.
And
Like
then
fair play.
none of this crap.
You
There
can
was none
see
of this
what it
crap.
means to him.
Getting up on and doing an hour-long speech about how to save the planet and how we need diversity and
Yeah,
inclusion.
no, he just thanked his
There was
mum,
none of that from anyone.
but you could see how much it meant to him. And
Yeah,
I think that's a nice thing to see, and it's always nice to see a success story. So,
definitely.
yeah, no, I must admit I was quite pleased with the results this year. To be fair,
Yeah, positive. And let's hope they're making themselves a little bit more relevant with this year's awards, rather
yeah,
than alienating the planet, i.e., their audience, which is what they did certainly through the pandemic. Not via the Oscars, but these so-called celebrities and stars via social media
yeah,
were really doing some stupid things that people just thought, wow, like how can you be sitting there in your mansion crying? I can't go to the care home that my mum or daddy's in, or my granddad.
yeah.
I can't even go to their funeral. I didn't see them before they died. Yet you were crying in your mansion for the world. Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah,
Gwyneth,
yeah.
get that. Turn your camera off, Gwyneth. Val, stop singing, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, yeah,
Those two just
100%.
come off the top of my head of people that were really gratingly, cringingly annoying.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's at the time though, that was an overflow from these award ceremonies. Unless Ricky
Yes.
Gervais was on duty that night, he kept a tight ship, didn't he, old Ricky?
Yeah,
He wouldn't
yeah.
let him get away with it. But unless he,
Everyone was petrified, weren't they?
yes, but if he weren't doing the
But
commentary, you've got these.
he never did the Oscar. He was the Golden Globes, wasn't he?
It
He
was
never did
Golden
it.
Globes, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I must
No, but
admit,
overall, that was
I used to tune in to the Golden Globes just to see what Ricky
yeah, I
said.
think a lot of people did. Because you knew he was keeping them in check
Yeah,
and taking the piss as well. And
yeah.
taking the piss.
But
But that was good. The Oscars was a nice positive.
I just think that Ricky Gervais speech that he did about when you get up here, don't tell us how to live our lives, this
Yeah.
and that. Just come up here, thank you God, thank you mum, and
Oh, thank
fuck
you,
off.
agent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
thank you,
fuck,
agent, and fuck off.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the other highlight, just quickly before we wrap it up, was when he says, "I like a drink as much as the next man, unless the
Oh
next
yeah,
man is Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
On he comes. I mean, that's years ago.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's a really long
Absolutely
time
brilliant.
ago. And
That's all good.
you know, look at what Mel Gibson's his transformation as well, despite Hollywood not
Yeah.
liking him. So
if the Oscars, I kind of feel like this year was a little bit of a reboot in a way.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's well put actually.
So yeah, hopefully they continue on that track, and yeah, hopefully they continue on that track.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's wrap it up there for the news. I think that was quite a nice bit of.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
And well, until next time, Space Lizard. Thanks for that.
No worries, darling.
Adios.
No, no.